I imagine the conversation in YouTube's offices when they were discussing this went roughly along the lines of, listen, we've completely and utterly outcompeted television. We've crushed it into the ground to the point where the only thing that's keeping it even remotely alive anymore is subscription services. And we're becoming one of the largest one of those as well. But that's not very sporting now, is it? So, what is the thing about television that people object to the most? And how can we implement it on our own platform? As YouTube are now going to add in 30-second unskippable ads to television people. So if you're viewing YouTube on a TV, the little back-end AI will go, you need to be punished for your habits. You know, this seems to have become just like a common thing now. All of these various platforms, be it YouTube or Netflix, they chase the audience, then once they catch the audience because they've offered an objectively superior alternative to what is already proffered by regular cable television, then they decide to squeeze until they arrive at some sort of pain point, whereupon the audience might go somewhere else to be squeezed yet further until they go somewhere else to be squeezed yet further. Maybe this is why this is happening. Now that we've got an entirely new ecosystem, all of them are going to reset and now begin upping the pain ante slowly but surely, all in, generally speaking, rough coordination with one another. I miss the time when YouTube was supposed to be for, well, YouTube, where the entire concept of the entire platform was user-created content for other users, rather than content created, seemingly near solely and singularly for advertisers. Those were good days. According to Google, the update is aimed specifically at YouTube's TV experience, where viewing habits are more closely resembling traditional television. Google says the longer ad format is designed to help advertisers reach audiences who are watching content in a more relaxed living room setting. And hey, fair enough, at least it's not as bad as traditional television. Yeah, I'm sure, well, I'm not actually sure all of you, but some of you, the older generations, have experienced watching movies on television before. You know, when they were running Lord of the Rings or whatever on the TV, and you'd watch 30 minutes of movie, then 20 minutes of ads, then another 30 minutes of movie, and then another 20 minutes of ads. Some of those ad breaks were ridiculous, and hey, you know, in that comparison, 1 minute of unskippable ads is, I suppose, relatively merciful, but do we expect that to remain the standard? Of course not. As YouTube, again, just does this, people don't flee because, where are they supposed to flee to, precisely? Just give up on entertainment full stop? Or maybe just start pirating, I suppose? Well, they're just gonna up the ante even more, which incidentally will result in yet more people choosing ad blockers. As I believe they mentioned this as here now. Unskippable ads have long been a point of frustration for users, especially as YouTube continues to cracking down on ad blockers and pushing its YouTube Premium subscription as a way to remove ads entirely. Up until the point where they'll follow Netflix, mind you, and they'll offer up a light subscription with ads that you can only avoid if you upgrade to a bigger subscription, as the pain ceiling must simply just rise and rise, it seems, unavoidably so. And the reason for all of this is the ads themselves, okay? That's the problem. Back in the day, the olden days, the good old days, an ad was supposed to be snappy, brief. It showed your product, showed you the product being used, and went, wow, look at that product. Isn't it amazing? And they put way more effort into it as well. Like, toy commercials back then were practically movies in and of themselves. Now these days, because they're in competition, they're constantly driving away more and more people, and they are competing for a smaller and smaller market share. The advertisers' idea to fix this is to make more and more aggressive ads, longer ads, more painful ads, more annoying ads, to try and kind of bludgeon you into purchasing their product rather than merely enticing you to. This doesn't work, and so the spiral continues. The advertisement company thinks, wow, the last time we smashed this person over the head, it didn't produce any results, but since it's really difficult to tickle their pickle rather than merely just bludgeon them again, we are going to get a bigger stick and use that instead, which leads to even more annoying commercials, which means all of the other companies go, wow, they must be onto something, and everybody just makes worse shit. As if you're making a minute-long unskippable ads, what you're in essence doing is encouraging the fucking advertisers to make a minute-long unskippable ads, where they tell themselves, well, we've got a full 60 seconds to get to the point, might as well haul it out a bit. You know, there was a brilliant little mention down here with apparently Vietnam having decided to introduce maximum times on ads being viewed. And I didn't actually bring up a link of any worth. Meanwhile, some countries have taken action against YouTube's onslaught of ads. Earlier this year, Vietnam limited the length of time that pre-roll and pop-up ads will be able to stay on page to a maximum of 5 seconds. Why the fuck can't we have that? Genuinely. Okay, so the governments of the world are busy doing things like, if you want to be on the internet, you're going to have to show us some identification. We're going to need your fucking driver's license to comment on YouTube. Now, if you want to use Discord, much the same thing. Oh, and by the way, we are going to comb through your entire internet history in case you said a naughty word back in 2014 when that shit was still allowed. We are going to legislate on all of that. We are going to, oh god, Spain, a few months ago, they issued a royal decree legalizing like 250,000 illegal immigrants. That's what our governments are doing. Meanwhile, Vietnam is like, you're taking the piss with these fucking ads, YouTube. Calm down, 5 seconds tops. Why is the vestigial appendix of what was once the Communist Republic of Vietnam doing better governance than our Western A government of the people, for the people, wouldn't that be fucking beautiful? Anyways, the simple solution to this is, of course, to use even more aggressive ad blocking tactics, because it's only going to get worse, which is going to make the ads even worse, which is going to make YouTube enforce even longer ads. And a lot of the reason why this is going to work out, by the way, is because of the fucking boomers. My family is a part of the problem here, where my father, a couple of years ago, figured out that he could watch country music on YouTube. I shit ye not. And with this absolute realization of his, he came to the conclusion that, oh, I can just put on, like, country music playlists, and YouTube will be like, wow, you're obsessed with this shit, here's some more. And it would just keep going around in circles and circles and circles for all eternity. And he didn't give a shit about a 30-second or a 1-minute ad break, because he was used to the television slamming 5-minute ad breaks on him. I tried to explain, like, Dad, you can just use an ad block and you won't have to deal with that. But no, it somehow adds to the experience. And again, the thing is too, let's be fair here, YouTube is already a lot better than television, because at least on YouTube, in many cases, you can watch, entire videos, dozens of minutes, 40, 30 minutes videos without any ad breaks whatsoever. As this also very much so depends on how their AI functions at the time right there. Sometimes the AI is like, I think I could shove 5 ads down your throat in the course of 10 minutes, whereas other times it's not going to do any of that, which is weird. I've noticed this in my chat as well, as I've been experimenting with the various levels of ad settings, and by the way, YouTube is basically telling me, maximum ads or we're going to punish you, so suffer? or better yet, just install ad block. Or, God, okay, this is a problem too. The YouTube Premium argument. See, I am all for YouTube Premium. I think it's a brilliant idea. It gives far more money to the creators, encouraging them to stay on the platform, especially when YouTube does their usual algorithmic nonsense to try and choke the life and passion out of anyone on it. But it's supposed to give you advantages. Instead, it is the absence of punishment. That's what it's become. It should be giving you access to exclusive things. Exclusive access to... And you can't even do this, by the way, unless you're part of the YouTube official exclusive nonsense program. Special recording, special content. Hell, your YouTube, go to the television companies, go to Netflix, and basically say, we want some of your TV series. Just give them to us. You'll get more views on our platform than you will on your own anyways. Fuck you. And give that up as exclusive premiums. There we go. Make it worthwhile. Instead of simply going, listen, you're going to have to buy YouTube Premium. Why? Well, because if you don't, we're going to aggress upon you ever more violently until you surrender. It was an effective tactic for the Visigoths, perhaps, but not one I'd like to see repeated on YouTube, if at all possible. And of course, in the long term, what all of this will end up with is YouTube merely being television and then probably being replaced by another platform further down the line. Unless YouTube manages, along with all of the other companies doing this, mind you, to perfect that pain tolerance ceiling, where they manage to strike you just roughly enough in the nuts to the point where you might shrink and pull away momentarily, but you'll never completely refuse the next punch. Anyways, that's just me complaining about YouTube growing ever worse. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.